What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K of PNTS Network and StadiaDosage. I'm here with my good brother. If it'll let him pop up on the screen, let me see. My good brother Daryl Smock, who's also the co-host of this show that we do every week, which is called the Weekly Update. It's where we go over the latest and greatest in Stadia and cloud gaming news. So, with no further ado, let me introduce you to my good brother Daryl Smock. Smock, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Feeling good. Feeling a lot better now. And I'm just ready to talk about some games, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So with all that said, we got some things on the docket, y'all, that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Stadia news. There was new games, House of the Dead, and Stadia motion controls. Possibly we're going to see that in works in the Stadia Pro games. I'm going to talk to Daryl about that, and then we're going to talk about our big topic of the week, because Daryl was lighting it up in the chat. Him, Storm, and Pete, they had a very deliberate, they had a very detailed conversation. They were sitting there jumping Pete. Daryl Smock held him, was holding him by the arms, and Project Storm was trying to spin kick him. You know what I'm saying? Was trying to Hadouken. So it was a great, debate. I had to tell the brothers, like, look, this is a deal for something else. We got to take the fight somewhere else, But it's a great conversation nonetheless. We're gonna like take just parts of that, because I don't want no smoke. We're gonna take parts of that, and we're gonna bring it here, for you guys' as listening pleasure. And then lastly, we're gonna do our game vibes, where we talk about what games we want to see, what we're happy with, what we're disappointed with, all that other stuff. I think that's a great portion of the show. And you too in the chat, if you're a member, you can participate. I'm able now to put your comments up there on the screen. So let's do that. You participate too in these sections, because that's the perk that you get as being a member. Now, for those of you that are listening to this on Sunday and y'all don't know what the heck we're talking about, members get to record this with me and Daryl live on Fridays. So if you want that opportunity to chime in during the show, you got to become a member. How do you do that? Hit that join button below and become a member. Also, Daryl and I were working on bringing this to audio for your listening pleasure as well. So with that said, with no further ado, let's ask my good brother Daryl Smock Jr. Daryl, what you been playing this week?
Pretty much Destiny 2. I'm back on Destiny. I'm playing Destiny 2 and The Crew 2.
Okay.
The Crew 2, man, this game, Crew 2, it's fun. Like, it's literally my go-to game when I just want to chill out, when I don't want to deal with raging in Destiny or raging in Valhalla. I just go play The Crew, get a car that I really like. My car that I actually drive in real life is in the game. I drive a Chrysler 300.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that car is in the game, and I just be having fun with that. The Dodge Demon, I be drifting around with Vipers and stuff. I just think the Crew 2 is really fun. I just want to see more people playing the game, because I know it is only at 30 frames, and we were just talking about that, how games aren't performing, but the Crew 2 is 30 frames everywhere except for PC. So that's going to change in June or July when they do their year 5 update. That game's been out for 5 years. That's insane. And they just recently in the support for Breakpoint, and the Crew 2 is still kicking. They're still trying to pump out content for that game. So the game is going to get a 60-second per frames update, and it's going to get like a whole visual overhaul in the game. So it's going to look a lot better. It's going to look a lot cleaner. It's going to perform cleaner. And I hope that update comes to Stadia, because I don't see a reason why it wouldn't. Why it wouldn't.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, the Crew 2 is super fun.
Now let me ask. I'm not trying to whiz in anybody's cornflakes, but let me ask. I've never played the Crew 2. Never played it. And I have access to it via Ubisoft Plus. But let me ask you, Smock, is I heard that game is only 30 frames per second. Is that true?
It's 30 frames per second on Stadia, but it's also 30 frames per second everywhere. It doesn't matter if you play it on a PS5, a PS4, an Xbox Series. It's 30 frames per second everywhere.
Oh, holy cow! Yeah. Okay, well, all right.
They until this year now, like in June or July, the game hasn't been using next gen performance. It's been just ported over from the PS4 version or the 360 or the Xbox One version.
Oh wow. Okay.
The only platform that has 60 is PC.
Yeah. All right. Tommy Rocks in the chat. He's been really participating and keeping it live. I love when I see. And then Tommy's our grand overseer of our Old Dirty Blasters clan for Division 2. Hey Tommy. Yeah. Hey Tommy, I hope you're grinding.
Add me.
Would you? Oh yeah. We haven't added you yet, Smart. I'm gonna add you because I'm gonna be on later.
I need to. I wanna join the clan so I can start playing.
Yeah, bro. Hey, Tommy. I hope you've been grinding, bro. You've been in that PTS, that public test server on PC. Hey, yo, Tommy, it's looking beautiful out here. I can't wait. Mwah, perfectimo. I can't wait, brother. Wait till they bring this to Stadia. What'd you say?
That new
what
it's called.
Just the gear. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been look, no Smart. I haven't even tried that yet. I've just been going around, just interacting with the enemies. They've tweaked the AI of the enemies to where it's a lot more engaging. And then when you're taking over control points, like when you take over a control point, that's not it. Normally what used to happen is when you take over a control point, maybe a rogue agent will come out of nowhere and disrupt things and mess with you. But now it's like the fight doesn't end. It's like, oh, how dare you take this place over? So that's great. That's a great dynamic. It's just playing the game just feels better. And then the new gear that they're going to have out there. Oh man, it's just crazy. So hopefully everybody is getting it together. Tommy said, here, let me get to the social. Because here's what's going on. If you're watching this live, you're probably wondering, what the hell? How is this? I don't see Tommy here. Tommy's a member. So Tommy's able to drop a comment in while we're recording this live. So he says, I haven't grinded in a while. Have you gotten that pistol build? No, you got to send me a link to that build, bro. Hey, Tommy, you be proud of me. I got a whole spreadsheet and a half, all these different builds. I finally got the first build. They call it the Immortal God build with the 4-state breastplate and all that other stuff. I'm gonna talk to you behind the scenes about it. I'm gonna share my spreadsheet with you too. So yeah, send me the link for that build because I'll just add it. Yo, woo! That get Division 2. You gotta get with it. Smock. It's about to blow up. It's about to blow up.
I don't really know too much about the builds. I just go in and I play. Like I'm still doing I haven't completed the assignment because I don't like playing by myself. That's the thing. I don't like grinding Division 2 by myself. I feel like that game is way more fun playing with somebody else.
Yeah, Tommy's playing it. Yeah. Tommy Twisted Barber. He's another one. Tommy said, I checked the builds on the clan members. Didn't look good. Yeah, brother. Yeah, we got to check. Yeah. We're going to have to work with them. So I think that's probably the first thing that we're going to have to do, Tommy. I'm going to leave it all up to you how you want to handle it. But we're going to say to members, okay, you want to be down with the Old Dirty Blasters. We got to check out your gear. Nope, looks too surplus. You got to roll. Like, if you want to be active, we're going to be doing. Go ahead.
I just got a bunch of random stuff, man. I don't like. I got a bunch of exotics that I have on, but it is, there's no synergy there. I've seen there's build crafting in the game, which is cool, but I don't know where to go for none of that stuff. I don't know nothing about none of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Tommy will show you, and once you get the hang of it, you'll be like, oh, okay, I know where to go to get this stuff. There's another great grind farm video that I just was watching too before we went live. But what we're gonna have to do, Tommy, is we're gonna have to get everybody together in that Discord and say, yo, like, we get it, you want to be down with the team, but if you want to be first in line with us to be doing these raids, doing some of the tournament stuff that we're going to be doing in the future, where there's going to be cash prizes, you got to make sure your gear's up, you know what I mean? And here's your opportunity. So I think that might be a good way to celebrate. I'm going to leave that up to you because you the expert here, you know what I mean? But As y'all can tell by how hyped I am just by talking about it, Division 2 is about to be on a whole nother level, and you get to play it on Stadia. He says you need to build a legendary. Yep, absolutely. Alrighty, so y'all can tell what I was playing. Division 2. Yeah. I mean, I played a little bit of Madden 2, just because. It's mainly been Division 2. I've been playing it on the public test server, and I've been playing it on Stadia. I'm just like, woo! I'm just amazed. So with that said, let me do this. Let me show you something. And Smock, hopefully you can see this. This is the Stadia Dosage. You're in the chat? Okay. Yeah. This is the Stadia Dosage website. Shout out to Jack the Slip. We worked together to make this his own thing, because trying to have it as a hub on PNTS network was just getting too clunky. So now that it's his own thing, we're really working on getting contributors and information out there, and really having this thing build and grow. So what we're looking for now is we're looking for people that want to write articles. Was just talking to Jack this morning about it, and Jack is looking to compensate. So there's compensation and just some good, I'm not going to say too much, there's some good compensation that's involved. If you want to partake, first reach out to Jack the Slip. Idealistically reach out to Jack if you want to write Stadia articles. And what we're mainly looking for first and foremost is as news breaks, people that can drop some news in there. If you got like some op-ed stuff or some research, and that's fine as well, but we definitely got to fill slots to have people be able to grab the latest news and put it on the site. Talk to Jack idealistically, but if you can't get a hold of Jack, then reach out to me and we'll make things happen. So I definitely want to put that out there. Also, I was talking to Smock about this earlier. I did an interview. Let me see if I can get it up on YouTube. I did an interview as a guest on Stadium Connect North the other day, and they're going to air their main show later today anyway. But we did an interview with the developer for Outbreak Games, and man, that was an interview. I'm gonna say this, and I'm not saying this because I was there. It had nothing to do with me being there. That interview with the Stadium Connect, with the guy from Outbreak Games, it was, I think, the most important piece of Stadia content by anybody, period.
Yeah.
I say that because we're now 2 years in with Stadia. I mean, I get it. SG&E closed down last year. Then this year we had the business, and here it goes. I got it on the screen. And this year we had the Business Insider article. Uh-oh, something weird is going on. How come it's not showing it? Okay, let's go back. Should be on the screen. And it's not showing it. Huh? Kind of weird. Okay, let me do this. Oh, I know what's happening. Oh, okay. Let me fix this real quick. Window. Firefox. No, it's still not. Okay. All right. Unless, hold on, let me see something. Unless I got something super janky going on. Yes, I do. So let's get rid of that. There we go. There she goes. Oh God.
Stadia programs have been revealed.
Damn. All right, let me do this. Properties. Jesus Christ. Transform. I'm sorry, folks. I'm fit to screen. Boom. There we go. And let's do a little something like this. Y'all get to watch the sausage being made live on air. Whoop doodly doo. Okay. What? Oh. Okay, there it goes right there. What the hell? This is insanity. Okay, all right, there it goes right there. Now you guys can see it. All right, so Stadium Connect North. This was a hell of a show with the Outbreak Contagious Memories developer, Evan. You guys want to check that out. Most important piece of Stadia content. Why? Because we had the conversations about SG&E. Then we had a conversation a year later about the Business Insider article. So the stability of Stadia has always been in question. We've been fighting that battle for the last 2 years, right? Evan puts that to rest. He kills it. He's like, look, and this is coming from somebody that did not know what Stadia was 9 days ago. He said, look, I went out here, was trying to gauge you guys' anticipation and participation. There's a reason why I asked you guys if you would support it on another platform. I'm trying to figure out who you guys are. He said, but
that's that single developer, right?
The single developer guy, yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah, yep. So when he did that, we had some people that said, oh, you know what, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound right. And I even chimed in and I said, well, maybe the better path is to do this. Well, he explained, he was very transparent and he explained himself. He said, look, I don't know nothing about you guys. I don't know what games you play. What do you do? You know what I'm saying? So I want to see how huge this community is. He said, even though there were some of us on the periphery that were like hesitant, he said when he said that, his sales went up 1,000%. And he said he correlated and it's correlated to the Stadia community because the Stadia community, as they were buying the game on these different platforms, they said, hey, look, I bought the game. I just want you to know I bought the game on this platform, and that's huge because we grew a game 1,000% that's on major platforms. So then he said, look, we want to get this thing in Stadia Pro. This is how we do it. Very transparent. He was breaking down, look, and he said, and even in these 9 days, I've been listening to the naysayers. And he said, they're ridiculous. What they have to say is absurd. He said, but there's naysayers everywhere. Stadia is not going anywhere. They have long-term plans. He said, I can't talk to you about everything, but this looks promising. This looks like a great community that's, going to do some things and push some things forward. Just got to be patient and give it some time because it's a new platform. He's only been acclimated to Stadia for 9 days. You can say, oh, well, he's just doing that to push his product. He has made no guarantee that the game will be there. All he's saying is that he wants it to be there. He said, I want it to be there, but I can't guarantee it. If we can't make the numbers jive, then, but he said the way to make it happen is if we can get it in Stadia Pro. He said, because I'm a single developer and I got to consider these things. So he's not brown nosing because it's going to help his sales or anything like that. He's letting everybody know what's going on, why he did what he did, and what we can do for the future. And the fact that he's telling us only knowing the platform for 9 days to ignore the naysayers. That's what he's telling us. And this is coming from a developer.
Yeah. When I first interacted with him on Twitter, I was skeptical. Like you see my comment on Twitter. I'm like, yo, why are you trying to get us to buy this stuff on another platform? That literally makes no sense. But I'm gonna have to watch this interview to see what he said because that's some interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
I had a conversation with somebody behind the scenes, and I was like, and I let everyone. I was like, that's questionable to me. You know what I mean? Like maybe he thought we were stupid. You know what I mean? But
that's what I thought. I'm like, yo, what is going on?
But Evan said, look, this was my way to try to know you guys and figure you guys. I don't know anything about you. He said, up until y'all started pursuing me with this, I didn't know what Stadia was. And he said, this is another thing. He said, there's a lot of developers that are like that because they're working on their products. And it's not that, he said, we're not trying to ghost you or whatever. We're literally got our heads so buried to our games and where we want them to sell at. We don't have time to go explore other platforms. He said, so what you guys are doing is instrumental. He said, you guys got to keep it up. Keep going to these developers and ask them to port their games on Stadia because they're going to tell you, oh, I never even considered that. Is that a thing? Is there a community there? And
there's one other developer that I want to reach out to. Because we don't have enough racing games. To me, Stadia doesn't have enough racing games. So there's a developer that's on Steam
Mm,
I don't know if it's Steam. It's Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox now, but it's called Car X Drift Racing.
okay.
This not the game isn't huge, but I know that's a good game for Stadia. That's a good game to come over to Stadia. That community is very. It's a great community.
Yeah, I would say, because Clive put something in the Reddit where he was like, look guys, based off of what this developer said, we might want to work together and start getting more and more games out here, so let's do it. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, definitely do it. So yeah, great interview. I really think it really was the most important piece of content that I've heard, as far as content creation is concerned, because after these years of strife and going back and forth, well, you guys do it. Smock and I think we Smock don't even know who most of these naysayers are. We discuss them, but he don't know who these people are. I've closed my door to them, but for a lot of you that feel like, oh well, when I first got here, this is the person that I listened to, so I just feel like that they're still glued in or tied in to my best interests. No, maybe not.
Yeah.
And you're hearing it from the developer himself. So,
even one of my favorite YouTubers, Marquez Brownlee, yeah, he thinks Stadia is dead. He's one of my favorite YouTubers because it's like I was like, oh man, why did he say that?
Well, yeah.
But I can't blame him. He's not really connected to the community.
Exactly.
Like everybody else. Yeah.
It's just, and then what happens, Smock, is everybody can't be like us, where we treasure and we value facts. Like I'll look at something and I'll be like, I can't, I'm not one of those people that just says something or believes something because a whole bunch of people are saying it. I'll look at that and say, that's interesting. And the first thing I do is I'll go pull up a link and go read an article myself. And some people just want to belong so bad. They'll see a group of people saying something and they'll just go over and start chanting with them and don't know what the hell they're chanting. So, and content creators too. Like my favorite podcast is a podcast called Rebel FM. It's by these guys that used to be part of my favorite video game magazine of all times. It's called GMR magazine. It was the free magazine that you used to get if you bought, if you were part of the EB Games monthly subscription service. So they went on to do some other things, develop games, all that, whatever, and now they got a podcast. They thought Stadia was going to die this year. They said, I don't see Stadia going past 2020. And apparently they're wrong. Evidently they're wrong. But I still love the podcast altogether. So, it's not a perfect world, but hopefully people will get more. As people like Evan, who get exposed to the platform and say, oh, I'm just after 9 days. Like they're echoing stuff that we're saying now. Maybe they'll go back out to the mainstream and help convince people on the mainstream why some of the things that they believe was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So, yep. Tommy says, which this is a great point. I get this. He says, isn't getting games Google's job? Hold on. What is Windows scene? Oh, crap.
What happened? Trying to show the chat.
I know what I know what I did. Oh, I know exactly what I did. Dag nabbit. All right. Oh crap. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Let me fix this. Jesus Christ. Okay. I fixed that. Okay. So let me put Tommy's comments back up there. He says, isn't getting games to a platform kind of Google's job? Here's the problem with that. Yeah, yes, it is. You're right. But here's the problem with thinking that we're going to lay this with Google. When you're a mainstream platform like a Nintendo or an Xbox or an Xbox or a PlayStation, the people come to you. Now, there might be like a few sections here and there where people may want games and you got to really go fight for them, but it's very far and few between. So like Phil Spencer got to go to Asia and try to get more of the Japanese, you know what I'm saying? So it's few, but the overwhelming majority of the games that are out there that are being made, if they're coming to consoles, they're coming there. It's different for Google. You know what I'm saying? And it's different even for GFN or whoever else, where you got X amount of resources because you're a 1% business. You're not a 90% business. And you got to kind of pick and choose what games are going to come to the platform, right? Because you can't get all of them. GFN doesn't get all of them, right? Yeah. So what's not a better way than to get these games on here opposed to Google? Even if Google is aware of a platform, I mean, even if somebody is aware that Google has a platform, they may be leery because of the Google name, right? But if Daryl Smock and 1,000 other people are going to this developer and they're like, I know Google has a name, an ominous name to it, and you guys may be skeptical. But I'm telling you, as a consumer, as a gamer, I play the platform, and this platform is great, and you should bring your game here because it'll flourish. That is going to be a lot more powerful in a lot of ways than even Google approaching them. So it's a two-pronged thing. Google's not going to be able to approach everybody because their sources or resources are limited. And two, sometimes we can have more impact than Google. So I don't mind going out there and communicating with people and saying, hey, bring this game to this platform or bring that game, because that'll then help us curate and give a better understanding to Google as they continue to build what games we want. And secondly, Google is going to go get games. We keep getting 100 games a year, but again, with their limited resources, if we can get some of these indie, more or less these indie games, if we can get these indie games over here where people just sign up for Stadia Pro and Stadia really ain't got to dig into the resources to fund anything, that's even more better. You know what I mean? So, so I get Tommy's comment, but when you're a new platform, the scope that you can do this on your own is very limited. And now in the age of social media and grassroots marketing, it's a great thing to go out there and see the community go ask for these games. So, yep.
That's true. I don't really have much to respond. You already pretty much said everything. Like, it can't get much. Like, another thing to think about is Google does have the resources. Google as a whole, but Stadia is its own entity inside of Google as well. So the resources that Stadia has may not be the same resources that something, because like
exactly.
You said, because their Stadia is smaller. It's not the same resource as something like as YouTube, you know, where YouTube is known. Stadia's trying to get themselves there, you know?
Yeah.
And it could be the developer could be a company that Stadia hasn't heard of yet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
exactly.
They probably haven't heard of them. So having us reach out these developers is only going to make the platform better. We're not taking anything away from Stadia by doing it. You know, us reaching out to a developer doesn't mean that Stadia probably hasn't already done it. It probably already has done it, you know, and us doing it just makes them think twice, you know, like make them do a second look, like, you know what, it might actually be good, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's all that it is, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's like even Evan's Outbreak Games, you know, Stadia may have originally looked at that. They're looking at metrics. Because we got to understand. Like, yeah, Google and Stadia is a subdivision of Google, but Google's resources ain't Stadia's resources. Like, Microsoft's resources originally wasn't Xbox's resources, right? They had to earn that, and it took them 2 decades. See, the problem, and this is what Evan said, and I hope, Tommy, and everybody else that's listening, even though Tommy, you're putting great questions out here. I hope everybody listens to that interview. This is coming from the developer, not us, the gamer, who may have some development knowledge. This is coming from a guy that's been developing a series for a while and is successful enough to where he's seeing growth even on major platforms. He said the problem with today's gamer is they don't remember how things were when things were starting out for PlayStation, and how things were starting out for Xbox, and how things were starting out for Nintendo. Those companies had to work to this position to where, it's elementary that they get these games, or it's elementary they can just pick up the phone and call someone and someone say, yeah, we're coming over. They don't remember that at the beginning it wasn't like that for these game developers, that they had to build to get to that. The original Xbox had none of the games that people really wanted to play except for Halo. That's why they got destroyed 150 to 24. I mean, in a cult fashion, there were a lot of us that talked about the Xbox and we were like, yeah, Jade Empire and all, but nobody was buying those games. Let's be honest. They were buying the Grand Theft Autos. They were buying the Final Fantasies. They were buying even the Siphon filters and all that. They were buying those games. They weren't buying the Xbox games. So Xbox had to build to where it's at, and it took it two decades to get Microsoft to open that war chest the way that they are now, developing with all these studios and all that other stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. At the 360 era, they did some things, but that was like 8 years after its first go around. So when you're dealing with a new platform, you got to build up to that point, and I think that's something that Evan said that we got to remember. And again, Stadia's budget, like Smock said, Stadia's budget isn't Google's budget. We got to remember that. There's investors that are not going for that, especially for a 1% return. They don't want you spending 97%, build up for 1% return. No, that's not going to fly. So, nonetheless, let's move on. Great comments in the chat. And again, everybody that's here, not just Tommy. Tommy has great comments, but don't let Tommy show you out. Let us know how you feel about all this. Let me see. Jeremy in the chat says, Google doesn't put everything into Stadia. It is just a small part of the Google. Whole cloud gaming is like maybe a 3% business at best. Why would Google put a lot into Stadia right now? Tommy says, it isn't the same. Both GFN and even Bolsteroid are moving forward. Stadia is standing still, even declining and getting worse. So Smock, how are they declining? That's news to me.
I don't know. I didn't know that either, because we did the numbers so recently, right? Like,
yeah.
At the beginning of the month.
Yeah,
and it didn't show that.
I think what he's doing here, let's do this. Because I was going to do this later in the show, but we move it to the whim. Google Trends. I think this is what he's talking about, which I can tell you right now is after extrapolating data with the data expert, Jack Deslin, that you guys don't want to do this. So here's what happens. I want to explain this to everybody. So people are doing compares of GeForce Now when they're doing compares of Stadia. Now, often what happens, Smock, and if here goes the flow chart, right? They're looking at GeForce Now, they're looking at Stadia, and they're looking at the lines as how the Google search is working, right? And they're looking at how GFN has had a bump, and then GFN kind of like exploded, and then exploded again.
God of War. We're going to talk about it later, but God of War is news. So people are going to start searching that because it's news. But
here's the interesting part. What I think people aren't realizing is that, let me show this. This is the cloud gaming poll that we did, where we sat and got over 1,000 people to respond. and we asked them from GFN, Stadia, Shadow PC, where do you game, right? And so the majority of Stadia people game via the CCUs. Second place is a PC or a laptop, and then third place is a phone. It's the opposite for GFN. 78% game on the PC or a laptop, 12% game on the TV. All right, and then the same with Shadow. So here's why that's going to make a big difference in this. If I game on a PC and I got a Chromebook, or I don't want to do it natively, I just want to do it via the browser, and I'm trying to figure out how to game, because what we got to remember too is that the overwhelming majority, Tommy, of GFN's users are people that play on the go, and that they're not paying into the service. Again, the overwhelming majority of people that play on GFN are paying on the playing on the free tier. There are people that have rigs that want to play on the go, and if they're not on the go, or if they're not away from home, they're not thinking about GFN. So they may not know how to do that. So they may go to the internet and they may do a web search of GFN. As you can see, it's always been pretty much GFN is kind of headed over Stadia in web searches and so forth. And then it got higher. There was a bump here because of Kenna. That was when Kenna came out. Then there was another bump here. This is when the 3080 tier was first being announced, and GFN went on a media blitz on it, right? And then this bump right here is when Fortnite was there. But if you can see, they never consistently keep these bumps. These are news blips, right? Stadia really didn't have a news blip. The only news blip that Stadia had was like in November, when they made the announcement that they were coming to LG TVs, right? And then if you look at both, they're steadily dropping. This blip is Fortnite, but again, they're not maintaining that blip. It's not up here. It's dropping. Stadia really hasn't had any big news. And to couple this, Stadia had that Forbes, not Forbes, what was it? Business Insider. They had the business. So,
I forgot about that.
GFN is always going to lead in searches. They're going to get significant bumps when there's big advertisements, because people, like Smock said, they're going to search for it. But as you can see, they're not maintaining those blips, right? They're not maintaining those levels. So it's not getting worse. And then now you see a decline for everybody. Okay? But that's just web search. And let me do this. Let me go worldwide. I think it's even closer when you go, look at that. It's even closer when you go worldwide. Or maybe, no, and then you do see a separation here. So it's not closer when you go worldwide, but when you go worldwide, it's very similar as far as them not maintaining the blips and the bumps. And again, you got to take into consideration this. Most people, when they play Stadia, they're playing on their TV. When people play GFN, they're playing on their laptop, their PC. The majority of those people are playing when they're away from home. You're going to get more searches for GeForce Now just off of that, period. Just off the strength of that. These big blips that you see, they're now even starting to subside. And look at that. They're starting to subside to what? Normal levels. That's even with Fortnite. Let me show you something else though. Now that's just web searches. That's just putting in GeForce Now, the search term, versus Stadia, the search term. That's just explaining the search terms. Let's take a look at news. Wow, look at Smock. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now when it comes to news, it's a different story. Who's dominating the news searches? It's Stadia. Now GFN had a bump here. I can't remember. I think that's when they first announced the 3080 tier. And then look what Daryl Smock just talked about. God of War. They're experiencing a blip right here. But Stadia is as far as the news searches are concerned, people looking at stuff on the news, looking for news over the platform. Because that's what people look mainly on the internet for, is news, right? So if you're just doing a general web search, that would be more associated to you trying to find out how to play GFN on the go, right? Because you're playing on your PC or laptop, you may not have the native app installed, and you're just playing on the go. And again, GFN has a whole bunch of users. I would say more users than Stadia has at 15 million plus, but those users are people that are mainly not paying for the platform. So when we say things like it's getting worse for Stadia or it's getting bad for Stadia, I don't think we're using the proper tools. This is why we have the Stadia Stats Show with Jack DeSlip. So we extrapolate a whole bunch of data, not just Google Trends. Is there a drop in Stadia web searches? Yeah, there is a drop in Stadia web searches. There's drops in GFN web searches too. But what do those web searches compromise? Or what are they built of? Most likely they're built off of people who, again, this 78% who, how do I play GFN on the go? Because when you go to the news, what do you see when you go to the news?
Yeah.
It's a completely, so we can't let the expert extrapolators extrapolate the data. Just watch the number show for Stadia every month and you won't be led astray. But I think when we listen to other people talk about Google Trends, which is a silly way to determine if somebody's successful or not, especially in the cloud, when you have the main parameter of cloud gaming being able to go on the internet in the cloud and play your game on a web bar, using web searches to determine whether on a cloud service is successful or not, I think is a poor litmus. I get it for PlayStation and Xbox and even so much for Xbox, it may not be fair because Xbox you can play via a web browser. But still, I can understand for them, but for a cloud service, no. There's so much more that you got to look at. And even if you fully look at Google Trends even more, which you really shouldn't go by, I feel like at all. If you go by the news search, it's a different story. You know what I mean? So, Tommy says, let's just be honest here. GFN has better hardware and more games people play. People also like the Steam and Epic integration. Stadia doesn't even have 1 million users. See, you're talking about probably, Tommy, you gotta, your what's the word I'm looking for? And I don't say this to
1 million a while back though.
Yeah, they had, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know. Yeah, it sounds like that Tommy is listening to some sources that have half the data. Sensor Tower data said that Stadia hit 3 million at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where you got that from, Tommy, and also
numbers from Tommy.
Yeah, I think you just got some bad numbers, but you know it's understood. That's what we're here for. We're here to help shed light to truth to the light. And if you like GFN better, hey, power to you. But Jack,
GFN isn't a bad service, but don't try to downplay Stadia because you like GFN, and don't come with false narratives. Like if you don't like where your search is coming from, because Google said it themselves that they've already hit 1 million users like a while, like last year, probably before last year. You know, so I mean, just saying, like, would you want to talk about Stadia? Come with like some stuff.
Yeah, you know? That's the problem. There's too much matter of factisms out there. Well, let's be honest. Let's be real. You know, there's too much of that. When the facts are there, you got to throw those matter of factisms to the side. And this is our good brother Tommy Rocks. He means well. You know what I'm saying? I just think he has access to bad data. We got this article out here by Jack DeSlip where it says right here, they're talking about the top games in UK. And Stadia is leading there. Stadia's target demo are people that buy these games. So if you're a PC Tommy, you're absolutely right. It sounds like to me that you're more of a PC gamer than anything. So if you're a PC gamer, GFN is going to appeal to you more. But if you're a plug and play gamer that normally comes from the console side, Stadia may appeal to you more. GFN is too expensive. GFN isn't convenient enough, and you don't care that there's 1,000 games that on GFN or whatever, because there's games that you never heard of that you don't care to play. What you care about are the top retail selling games. Those are the games that you care about. And guess who's leading in those? Stadia. But if you go by GFN's target, what should be their target demo, PC gamers, GFN is leading, of course, in games for its target demo. So yeah, to oversimplify it is, I think, what we're trying to say. To oversimplify it is, let's be honest, GFN has this. No, the data doesn't say that. What the data says is for PC gamers who can't upgrade, GFN is a great resource for them and has the games that they want. For plug and play gamers who are disenfranchised from having to pay another $500-$600 for a console, wait for one, the chip shortage, that Stadia is provides the best experience for them. Period. You know what I mean? And they're two totally different, I think, demographics that are being lumped together erroneously because they both use cloud gaming technology. So. But great stuff all more or less, and great. And then again, like Tommy, like Jeremy Maloney, Jeremy Moon, he says, I don't know the source of your numbers, but it sounds like you are just. I would say that. I think Tommy's getting them from somewhere, but the person whoever is reciting them, they're not accurate. You know what I mean? But that's what we're here for. And we got Aminar here, Smock. He says, another of pro Stadia supporters have left Stadia already. It's pretty much a dead platform at this point. Shut up. No, that's our good buddy Aminar. But I just want to put all that out there. Any final thoughts before we move on? We haven't even started the topic yet.
We haven't. I was about to say that, like yo, let's get on track. Because honestly, this episode is great, but we just having a conversation, really.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And things like that.
But no, it's great
let's
stuff.
Get to the news.
But here's the thing. We're gonna get to the news. I just want to say this real quick. For those of you, don't be sore at Tommy, because Tommy, like he says, he plays both. He enjoys both. It's just that he enjoys he enjoys GFN more now. But even though Tommy might be having some wrong numbers out there, I think that's symptomatic of the conversation or lack thereof that Stadia might be having with the community. We got to be honest.
Also, Tommy, the Stadia Reddit is a cesspool, man.
Yeah,
like we don't go there. We do not go there. That's it's already confirmed that people literally join the Stadia Reddit just to troll everybody and just to bring negative comments. So take everything you read on Reddit with a lot of grain of salt.
Yeah. I can tell you, as one of my first posts, Mock, when I put that xCloud version, and Tommy, you should be able to appreciate this, because this is when Stadia's performance was the creme de la creme, right? I did the xCloud version of Destiny 2 versus the Stadia version of Destiny 2. This is earlier on. Out there on the Stadia Reddit, and it got nothing but negative responses. That doesn't make any sense. It clearly looked better. I showed that it clearly looked better on Stadia than it did on xCloud, and it got nothing but negative responses. xCloud, well, maybe you didn't ping the right server. It didn't. The responses I got didn't make any sense. The Stadia Reddit, and nothing against the mods. The mods are trying to do the best job that they can. The Stadia Reddit is it's hard, yeah. It's a cesspool. It's a cesspool. And what happens is when you post something out there, you have two extreme groups. One group that says, you better not say anything bad about Stadia, I'm gonna ice pick you. Or you have another group that says everything everything that comes from Stadia is hot doo-doo. And what they do is one of the groups takes over a post, and then the other group just leaves it, and they say, okay, they just walk off back in the wood and say, okay, that carcass is theirs, we'll wait for another one. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good place to get a diversion of information. It's just one of these extreme groups grabs it. And like I pointed out to the Stadia Reddit, okay, you may have a situation where Stadia, you have a bunch of people that upvote something that says, I'm leaving Stadia right now because GFN got God of War and Stadia didn't. This is horrible, right? And then you'll see 400 uplikes on that. Trust me, from the data that I've seen, the data that we've talked about on the number show, Stadia gets 3 times that a day. 1,500 new people engage with Stadia every day. Now, does Stadia retain them people? Who knows? But they engage with 1,500 new people a day. So even if those 400 people left that day, 1,500, what we got to remember is that there's a vocal minority that Evan spoke to, the developer, we got to listen to the dev. He said there's a vocal minority out there. They spit a lot of hoopla. They don't have the facts. They just make stuff up, and they're not good to engage with. But the platform has promised, it's growing. And is it perfect? No, but it's definitely growing, and it's not getting worse. It's definitely not getting worse.
And Tommy, we do speak about the bad parts of Stadia. We don't just talk only about the good parts. We were just talking about how Stadia needs to get better, get on devs, like, because the games that are being ported isn't showing the proper performance of Stadia, like the game that we just got on Stadia Pro isn't 4K. Like, that's unacceptable for somebody that's paying to play Stadia in 4K.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like we talk about everything. We talk about everything that has to do with Stadia here, not just the good stuff. We're talking about the good stuff now because Stadia has more good stuff than it has bad. Yeah. Don't let just because you hear a lot of bad stuff in other forums and other things, that doesn't make up for the majority of the Stadia players. Majority of the average Stadia players, just like every other platform, you're not going to hear from them because they're too busy either gaming or doing something else. They aren't on Twitter. You're only going to see the hardcore fans on Twitter and or on Reddit or wherever you look. Like, we're the ones that actively trying to get accurate data and put out accurate data. The average player probably doesn't even care about this type of stuff. This isn't their forte. They just want to make sure that whatever they're playing, they can play whatever game they like.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, it's great that GFN is scratching or checking off the boxes for you. Stadia is checking off the boxes for others. To sit there and unfortunately we have sources out there that are telling people that, it's things are going horrible for Stadia. They're not telling the full picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just always just put in one search into something and say, okay, that tells the whole story. That's why Jack extrapolates data. Yes, GFN for a while has had a gap in far as searches, but what are encompassing of those searches? I mean, we can pinpoint some specific things, like, again, when the 3080 tier went worldwide, and when went on GFN. Yes, that created more hits, but did it maintain those hits? No, they started to square off, and they're starting to go down. Now they may go up again for God of War, but how long is that going to last? But let's look at news. When we look at news, it tells you a completely different story, which leads you to believe that if you look at the data, the actual data, the fact that there's 78% of GFN users that are on PC, and we know the majority of the GFN people don't invest in the platform, so they probably don't know where to go to play on their PC. That's probably going to prompt more web searches. There's more to the story than meets the eye, and people got to do more research on it before just living and dying off of that. But with that said, great discussion nonetheless. That makes the conversation so dope, and we thank you all for participating, and especially you, Tommy Rocks. And Tommy, again, regardless of what you feel at Stadia, we got to boot it up, brother. We got to get ready for that Division 2. we got to get ready because, man, when I can't wait till that stuff gets off the PTS server.
That actually is promising. Like, that'll give me something to play when Destiny has downtime.
Yes. And for those of you that don't know, when the time presents itself, Smock is going to be our main person for the Destiny 2. It's just we got to get the participation up. You know what I mean? So that's what we're battling now. All right, let's actually get to some news. Smock, you want to talk about some news?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about some news.
All right, so real quick.
Love the conversation, though.
Yeah, definitely a hell of a conversation. Damn. It's the day the 22nd, yes, and I guess we got more news. We got Hot Wheels Unleashed rated for Stadia.
Nice.
We also got they got our video from last night out there. We got okay, here we go. House of the Dead remake confirmed for Stadia April 28th through the darkest of times. Also confirmed is coming. What do you think about House of the Dead? There was that motion control thing that was in that APK breakdown.
Yeah.
Are you excited about this?
I'm looking at the trailer that's on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's a point. Is it a point and shoot?
Yeah, it's a point and shoot. Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't ask you if you're. That's loud. Maybe I shouldn't ask you if you're excited, but you think it's a good get for the platform.
I believe so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The game looks interesting. You know, it looked like it has a lot going on, and there's definitely a market for it because zombie games are kind of popping right now.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Souls, like people always enjoy a good zombie / horror style game.
Yep. Cool. Also, Outriders is coming as a Stadia Pro game. Let me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Is it playing better though? That's the real question.
When's the last time you played it?
I played it 2 months ago, and it was smoother.
Okay.
It was smoother. It had some hiccups, but it wasn't. It is definitely fluid. I played with. He's in our community too. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Oh my god. Okay. I played with two Stadia members. Stadia community. I played with 2 of our members. My memory is terrible right now. I played it around 2 months ago.
Geek the Sneak rolls in and he says, so I played Luna for about 30 minutes yesterday and he got a bunch of laughing emojis. What's so funny? Oh, what's wrong with Luna? Geek? What happened? Oh, man.
He said it ran great.
Oh, he said it ran great?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's see here. 3 amazing. So yeah, we got to me, Outriders is running good. I was playing it. I like it. Now is it fantastic? No, I mean I want to say you get like frame jitters, you know, where it's like sometimes a little shaky, you know, but it's definitely
especially in the cutscenes.
Yeah, and it's definitely playable. And speaking of GFN, I gotta give when I compare the two, not even the 3080 tier, just the regular GFN, premier tier. Outriders is the best there, but they definitely went and made some improvements on the Stadia one, and it's definitely playable there. And I enjoy it on Stadia. This new content that's coming, it's gonna be $60. You looking forward to this? You're gonna be picking that up, Smock?
I don't know because I'm not gonna lie. Outriders is a very tough game. That game is not easy. That game is difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the harder looter shooters to play. So I might see. I might look at gameplay first before I actually get into it and see how it is. And if I think it's interesting, I'll get into it. Cool. Into it. But I just want to see. I just want to see more. I just want to see what other games are gonna come to the platform. You know.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of games that's been like you said, there hasn't been a lot of games dropping lately. So it's like besides Destiny, besides like content drops within games that already exist on the platform, there's not a lot of new games that's like, man, I gotta get that, you know?
Yep.
So
No, you're 1,000% right. Well, let me ask you about this one. This might change your mind. Hold on, let me pull it up on the screen. Hold on. Let me see. This I think this might change your mind. Here we go. So 2 more games, and this is all on this is all on StadiaDosage.com. Excuse me. 2 more games announced for Stadia, including Five Nights at Freddy's. Were you a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan, Smart?
Never played it.
Oh,
the game that the game that I thought of when I seen Popeyes. I mean, this game.
What's that?
Five Nights at Freddy's is Poppy's Playtime, a horror game.
Whoa.
Have you heard of that?
I imagine that it's like a nice little sweet little game. Okay. Okay. I got
it's
you.
It's a genuine horror game. It's a genuine horror game.
Okay. Let me here goes the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Let me see if I can find it. Oh no, I don't want to play here. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Stadia. Let me put Stadia because I don't want to get in trouble by playing somebody else's. Oh, they don't have it. Oh man.
I'm looking at like a little gifting going on a website.
What's that?
The like a gameplay footage. I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is
Is it a top-down game or is
no?
that something else?
Yeah, that's something else. That's what is this other game? Jesus, something Death Run TV. I think that is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the other new game. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy is a horror game, and
but it is.
Yeah. Oh man, it's scary as hell.
I might have to play that.
Yeah. It's I mean, and it's for
that game that your cursor on. That's not it.
No.
Okay.
Oh no. This game is it, but it looks like a kid's game, but that is actually a horror. Here's what it is. Here's what Five Nights at Freddy is. And my son explained this to me. That there was a serial killer. It's kind of like Chucky, and his spirit went into all these animatronic dolls. So this child just keeps getting locked in these stores where these animatronic dolls that have been possessed are there. So this right here is like an animatronic toy, and it's running after you. But the way they do it, it's scary as. And I want to see if I can find Five Nights at Security Breach trailer. If I can find the trailer somewhere. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe we'll get this right here. PlayStation. Here, let me play it right here. You see it?
I'm still showing the webpage.
It's still showing you the webpage?
Your cursor's on the webpage. Oh, now it's on YouTube. Now I see that it's on YouTube. Oh, okay. It's behind. That's why.
Oh, okay.
The YouTube is behind the actual live.
Oh, you're watching it. Oh, okay. I see you watching the video.
Yeah, I'm watching it on I'm on a YouTube page.
So this is
you put it on a Discord? Let me see.
That's scary as hell.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, you're trying to hide from these little animatronic dolls.
So it's an FPS? It's FPS?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, this looked way more interesting than that top-down thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can get into this. I can get into this game. This game looks interesting.
Oh, yeah. So it has a huge following. And the Five Nights at Freddy's community, which is huge.
Yeah, this looks like it could be fun.
This game isn't even on Xbox too. So it has a huge. So this was a big get for Stadia in my opinion. But Yeah, okay, so you said it's something you can get into. To me,
Yeah.
I'm not big on scary games.
Yeah, I can get into horror games because I noticed that if like people like seeing other people get scared, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a thing. So it's like, okay, if I could have a setup, Stadia as face cam, the streaming,
Yeah,
I swear the reactions
that'd be
would
great.
be priceless.
That'd be great. Yeah, they should be able to do that. Okay, so that's all the news that came through on Stadia today. Now for the big discussion, and if we have time after the big discussion, we'll end it with game vibes. GFN gets God of War. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
So, as it goes, we know that yesterday was the big news drop for GFN. God of War launches on the platform. We kind of already went over the communities. I wanted to also talk about the community's usage of the numbers and stuff, but we already went over that. But what do you? Okay, so I guess the big debate, Smock, and I'm gonna completely turn it over to you. The big debate is this big for GFN? And there's arguments that it is. There's arguments that it isn't. Let the people know where you lie in that argument and why.
Man, listen, forget what Pete is talking about. Pete is the homie. I like you, Pete. You the homie, you feel me? But listen, do not downplay the status of God of War. Like, I get he's not into GFN as a service, but your dislike for a service shouldn't give you ammunition, or it shouldn't make you discredit a game. Like, if GFN was bigger, it had more of a consistent flow on their socials, because it doesn't. When they tweeted this game, it only had it barely had 100 likes, and it barely had not even 100 comments, under the thing. So it's like, if GFN was bigger, and if there was more consistent, and like you said, reaching out to the correct crowd, bro, this game would be going nuts. This game, this is a good game. It's God of War. You feel me? It's one of Sony's biggest exclusive games that they have. Besides Gran Turismo, besides Spider-Man, Wolverine isn't out yet, so that one doesn't really count. So it's like, this is one of Sony's biggest exclusive games that they have. And it's like, to discredit this game because it's coming to GFN is not right. God of War in itself is a big game. Now it's up to GFN to market it like they're supposed to. If they keep trying to come over to Stadia's crowd, where people are more into plug and play and not PC, then this game is gonna flop. But if they market this game to the correct crowd and they do their job in marketing, then this game could be Cyberpunk for them. Like, everybody will man, let's just see a test just to see how good it runs, and put it up against PC or put up against this and that, like they was doing to Cyberpunk on Stadia when that came out. Like, this game has a limitless amount of potential to flourish on their platforms. Like, this isn't just another game. This is one of the final games in the franchise is for this game.
Okay. You know what? I really can't disagree with that. I thought we were just gonna have a debate. I can't, because here's my thoughts. And where Pete was coming from was, Pete, like we did our thingy last night, and I would recommend everybody listen to it, where we did our after show. And Pete said, look, I get it, this game is big or whatever. I just don't feel like that Stadia people are going to say, oh, we're mad about this game or whatever, and then we're going to go to GFN. And that I agree, and I think we all agree there.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to GFN just to buy this game.
Yeah,
I'm not going to I already played this game. This game is excellent. I already played
Exactly.
it. So for me, this game is great. But for somebody that's on PC that probably didn't have a chance to play it, bro, this game is excellent. It's literally one of the best story games ever made. To me, like this God of War series is that good. It's that good.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest. It single-handedly turned me from a disbeliever of PlayStation, because I used to think that all their games were just interactive movies. This changed my mind, and I went from being an Xbot hating on PlayStation to PlayStation ain't so bad, to now I don't even have an Xbox anymore. I have a PlayStation 5. that all transpired in like a 4-year cycle, which is crazy, because when I first started doing YouTube videos, I was totally opposite. But yeah, no, this is a great game. And I remember watching somebody play it, and I was like, oh, that looks so corny. It was with the stranger, who later we discover who the stranger is. And I was like, yeah, this is corny. This is so stupid, until I picked it up and I played it, and I was like, holy ish, this is totally awesome. I mean,
I think. Sorry, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
This game even won an award when it came out. Like the actor for Kratos won an award. Like, he won multiple awards off of this game. Like,
no, brother, this
is a good game.
this won Game of the Year at VGAs. It beat Red Dead Redemption, which was an upset, really, because people swore that Red Dead Redemption 2 was going to win. I can't remember who won ultimately more awards. Was it God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2? I will have to look that up. But Red Dead Redemption 2 got a lot of 10s as well. You know what I mean? So that's saying a lot. And this is like GFN getting this is like us having Red Dead Redemption 2 and us having Cyberpunk. This is potentially huge for them, but here's where I say potentially huge. Okay, what were you gonna say, Smock?
I'm gonna say, like, the terms that we're using is like so disappointing, because it's God of War. Like, we're using potentially, it could be huge. Like, we're using these type of terms for God of War.
Yeah.
But the only caveat is that it's on GeForce Now. And that's like, I'm not saying GeForce Now is a bad service. I'm saying their marketing is bad.
Yes,
they have terrible marketing.
That's where I'm getting to, and this is what frustrates the hell out of me. People think that I hate on GFN because it's not my thing. No, I don't hate on. I can look at things broadly. It's not my thing. My thing is, as a business person who's had to look at marketing and utilization of resources, I think that the marketing team at GFN are doing a horrible job at the potential of GFN, and now God of War being on GFN. Daryl Smock said something very important. He said, this is huge, but I'm not going to go to GFN and play it. Because why? Because I already played it. Stadia's demographic is filled with people who are like Smock, who are like my brother, who are like my cousin, who I got to play outright. They already had PlayStation 4s, right? And they were looking for a little bit more. And they heard about 60 frames per second here, or cloud gaming, this, that, or whatever. And they didn't want to necessarily get a PlayStation 5, or they didn't want to wait for one. So they took the next step, but without going that far leap. And they jumped into cloud gaming and Stadia, right? So these people already played PlayStation 4. I mean, they already had PlayStation 4, because there's over 100 million of them, 115 million of them in homes already. And during the pandemic, it then grew even more, right? That's Stadia's demo, the plug and play Target demo. They already have this. You know who don't have this? That's growing this to even more further heights? PC gamers, right? So why isn't GFN marketing this thing like crazy to PC gamers who don't have a powerful enough rig to play God of War when it came out on PC originally, but now they can do it through GFN.
I agree. There's so many people on PC that's been begging
yes.
to bring their games to PC.
Yes.
And finally doing it. And GFN is not getting the news that it deserves because for whatever reason.
What are they doing instead? Their social media people are targeting content creators for Stadia. That's or cloud game. That's asinine to me. You need to be going to PC gamers.
They're the ones that are gonna get these games.
Yes, PC. Look, man, you ain't look. I'm gonna do something different, y'all, today. Like there was one. I won't name the publication, but because they didn't do a bad job. I think they did a real good job. But there was a cloud publication that compared God of War on 3080, and they compared it on a PC, and they said, can you tell which one is the difference on the 3080 tier and an actual 3080? They said, can you tell it? And that was powerful marketing, but it's not going anywhere here. You know what I'm saying? Right. That should be with PC gamers like my son, who won a rig to play God of War, but he can't afford one. But now on his Chromebook, he can play God of War. This is perfect for him. What are you doing over here, GFN? What is wrong with you? You guys have lost your marbles. I'm not saying don't promote this via cloud gamers at all. No, you promote it wherever you can. But most of your focus should be from the disenfranchised PC gamer. If they start changing their tune, GFN will blow Stadia out of the water, and it got nothing to do with cloud gaming. They have a potential to reach a market far bigger than the cloud gaming, and that's the disenfranchised PC market, who's tired of getting new PC parts every 6 months. Like Smock said, this is a waste of a game. This is huge. Go ahead, Smock. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
Like Jeremy said, isn't God of War old enough to where most mid-range PCs can handle it easy with local hardware? Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe in 1080, but imagine playing God of War on the 3080 tier.
Yes.
The potential to hit 120 frames at 1440p.
Come on, bro.
Hey, mid-range PCs aren't doing that. Mid-range PCs isn't running this game. No, with what's that thing? With ray tracing. Like mid-range PCs aren't doing that. Mm-hmm. No. They're not running this. They're not running this game at high fidelity. They're just running it at mid range. That's probably like 1440p and with HDR, but that's probably it. Yep. Like they PC gamers have the potential to run this game at nearly max settings. At all times. Why is nobody talking about this? Yeah. Why isn't this? Why hasn't there been like all major publication companies saying, writing an article about this? Like this game could be doing so much better on GFN.
But it's GFN's fault. You know why, Smock? Because here's what you'll see when people write about the 3080 tier. It blows Stadia out of the water. Yeah, it blows xCloud out of the water. But let you compare the 3080 tier to hardware, and then that's when they get to stick up their behinds, right? Like I had a conversation with a major content creator, and they were like, cloud gaming is nowhere near dedicated device. And I said, well, hold on. I said, it's not my cup of tea. I said, but the 3080 tier can do some great things on paper and can do some great things versus hardware. Like, and they were making fun. What do you got to do to get in? I was like, well, you do got to get in the Nvidia Shield and this and that. And they're like, it sounds like you're trying to sell Avon to me. I got to get all these different parts. And I said, well, no, but still, it can do it. So if I'm somebody who I'm like, damn, to get a 3080, I got to save up another $1,200 or $900. I'm not there yet. But I can swing $20 a month, right? Or I got $200 a year because I already got that saved up. This is perfect for me. But again, with the publications will only go but so far because they don't want to compare this to hardware. They want to only compare this to Stadia, and this is GFN's fault because GFN just allows that comparison. But GFN and Digital Foundry did it themselves. When Digital Foundry compared it, they were like, well, yeah, I mean, you know, the 3080 tier can do this and do that and do, but when it comes to hardware, it does. No. Yeah, it may fall short on paper, but that's not the point. The point is you can get all this power without having to have $1,000 up front.
Yeah,
that's where they should be marketing.
When you compared $200
yes.
to spending $1,500 on a PC,
on one
that's
part,
where the numbers make sense.
On one part, yeah, that's exactly
on one part. You know, but comparing $200 to Stadia,
yes, doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yes, thank you, Smock. Thank you, Smock, for putting it that way.
Yeah, that's why you hear me and MM talking about like the way we talk about in GeForce Now, because they're just marketing it to the wrong crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're marketing. Yeah, again, if we can crystallize that, it's not hate, it's bewilderment. Like, yeah, Smock is right. God of War is huge. I'm a testament of that. You don't believe me? You think I'm just capping? Go to my channel. When I started playing, when I played God of War and I beat the whole damn game on my MM2K channel. You start noticing my tune about PlayStation instantaneously changing. And people are like, well, hold on. Whoa. What are you saying about all the Xbox fanboys? What are you saying about PlayStation? I'm like, well, I can't be mad at them. That's not what you were saying before God of War. You can see my change. So God of War is huge. God of War should be huge anywhere as long as it's marketed right. You can't, it's going to get its accolades from people that already played it, but that's it. If you want those accolades to come from money, then you got to go to people that haven't played it yet. And that's that PC crowd that have, like Smock said, have been begging for it. So, but they got to get it together, man. GFN got to get it. I'm going to say this. Now I'm going to say that to myself because we got people part of PNTS network that you know try to collaborate and do things with you. I'm gonna shut my. I'm just going to say this. Y'all better thank y'all lucky stars that I'm not a manager over there at that social. Thank your lucky stars that I'm not a manager over there because oh my God, there'd be a lot of government cheese and butter being consumed after I got there, meaning that a lot of people wouldn't be there because this doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no, and I have a 3080 so I can get the appreciate or 3070 so I can understand the appreciation. Market to the people primarily it'll have the biggest impact. That's the moral of the story. So, Jeremy Moan says, what I'm curious about is if it went to one cloud solution like GFN, will they be open to others like Stadia and Luna? No. And this is another thing to be careful about, though. I will caution this, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jeremy. Man, I'll put your comment up here. Please don't misunderstand this. Trust me, I know Sony. I know people close to Sony. We have these conversations all the time. Trust me, I have no reason to lie to y'all. I'm not getting paid for anybody for this. Don't think at this juncture that this means that from here on out, PlayStation games are coming to GFN and they're here to stay. Here's what's going on. PlayStation is testing all this because eventually this is stuff that's going to go on their cloud service. So instead of them making it available on PlayStation Now and hearing the backlash from their community, they're testing it out with GFN. They have a partnership with Epic. Epic has divine interest in GFN because of their relationship with Tencent. So they're using GFN to test the waters and see from the cloud what the feedback would be, what the response would be, what the revenue would be on the cloud. As soon as they decide to put this on PlayStation Now or whatever they're calling it, PlayStation Premium, it's not going to be on GFN. They may leave the games that were previously there, but they're not putting any future games. Sony is the staunchest believer in exclusivity out there. They're so staunch, they are making Epic pay them for enabling crossplay on PlayStation. So don't fall into this trap thinking that this is something that's going to happen for the rest of the time. You might get Horizon Zero Dawn next. You might get Ratchet and Clank next or whatever. But don't expect this to happen forever, let alone them games even staying. Because PlayStation don't ultimately care about GFN. They're testing the waters for their own service. Okay? So
yeah, it says, like, I'm looking at the screen. It says Sony Santa Monica's Masterpiece is available for members to stream across their devices, along with 8 other titles. What are those 8 other titles? Are those also from Sony Santa Monica's, or do they mean 8 other separate games that's not from Sony?
No, where does it say that at?
It says GFN Thursday. It's only, you have it up
on
the screen.
Yeah.
GFN Thursday is fit for the Gaza War. That's from GeForce Now.
Oh,
Sony
they're not
Santa Monica's.
They're not other PlayStation titles. They're like other Steam games. And Tommy Rocks, yeah, I know that they could test it on PlayStation Now, but PlayStation Now doesn't have the capabilities. It's not there yet as far as the output is concerned yet. So you have a more capable
generate news.
Yeah, and so you have this PC version that's out here. You're trying to see. And GFN, honestly, GFN has more reach than PlayStation Now over the cloud. So they're going to a platform that has more cloud reach, and they're looking at the response, collecting data, taking it back, and they might test out a new game. So yeah, even though they can test it with PlayStation Now, PlayStation Now's cloud response, the users that are using the cloud is very small, where GFN's is a lot bigger. So that's what they're doing. They're testing the cloud component with some of their games. And you're going to see more. I'm not saying you're not going to see more. You're going to see more. But don't expect this to be an ongoing thing. And don't expect these games even to stay. I'm not saying they won't. But there's a reason why when EA came on, they said there's a partnership. There's a reason why when other platforms came on, they said there was a partnership. Notice how nobody's talked about a partnership with Sony. It's just that the game is on there. They're testing it out. So. Yep. And Nvidia doesn't pay. Nvidia doesn't pay for any game. They've made it very clear. They're not paying for anything. This is something that's been set up because, again, Sony has an invested interest in Epic. And Epic, again, them and Sony, they're like this, son, as Dave Chappelle would say. They're very close. They understand, Sony wants to test these waters out with a bigger audience. So they're using GFN to do that. And that relationship was brought together via their relationship with Epic. Nvidia's not paying anybody for ports. They're not paying anybody for, and it doesn't make sense for them to do it. What it is the way that Epic and Nvidia are now working together as far as GFN is concerned, because there's a equal interest via Tencent. You know what I'm saying? Nvidia's working with Tencent on their version of GFN in China. Tencent has a lot of investment into Epic. So that's how that relationship started. So that's why Epic is now giving developers a percentage off when they allow their games to be playable on GFN. That's when you started really seeing this boom. Remember, of games coming to GFN is when Tim Swindle said, hey, look, if you allow your game to be on GFN, we'll take an extra 5% off, I think it is, off your licensing fee for Epic, for the Epic Game Store or whatever, right? So now that Sony has invested more into Epic, they're having conversations, they're introducing them to some of their tools, and Sony is just at a position to where they want to test this out on cloud services that have a broader reach. Also, don't forget, there's a rumor, and it might come to fruition if this service comes out here, Verizon is going to have a streaming service. And God of War was shown to be part of that service as well. So again, this is just them testing the waters. This isn't, NVIDIA didn't really pay anything. I don't know if Verizon paid anything, but NVIDIA's not paying for any more, and I'll give them credit for that. They're not paying for any more ports. None. They're getting these ports because of the relationship established with them and Epic going to these publishers saying, hey, look, we'll give you more off on the Epic Game Store if you put your game on NVIDIA GFN. They're doing that because of their combined interest with Tencent. Microsoft didn't, the Azure thing didn't go through yet. It's still in the deliberating stages. So, all right, that is a great conversation altogether. I think, you know what, we're going to save game vibes for next week. But Smock, did you have any final thoughts on this whole GFN God of War thing?
It's mighty interesting, and like I said, this is a mighty enticing title. Get people to just want to try GFN just to play this game. But just hope that they market it correctly. I hope that this game gets the play that it deserves, you know. Really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Death Stranding has different publishing on PC. That's why. Tommy, Death Stranding's publishing is different on PC. I can't remember who's publishing it on DC. As a matter of fact, we can look that up real quick. I think it's Epic. Is it Epic? Oh no. Publisher, or is it self-published? Publisher of Death Stranding on PC. Death Stranding. 505 Games. There it goes. Yeah, but hey, look. Hey, Tommy. Look. The top Xbox people on social media and the top PlayStation people on social media. I have been fortunate enough to be in DMs with both of them and just listening to them two go back and forth, like arguing and debating each other is vainglorious. I just be sitting back with my coffee and my popcorn. So yeah, I'd be abreast of. I've been abreast of all this stuff for years. But yeah, Death Stranding is published by 505 Games on PC. So that's why Death Stranding is a different situation. So it was, of course, published by Sony on consoles, but published by 505 Games on PC. So, yep. And yep. So that's great stuff. So, all right, Smock, before we close out, let the good people know where they can find you at.
You can find me right here on YouTube as Smock Junior Gaming. You can find me on Twitter as N2O Smock Jr. on Twitter. We forget my name sometimes. N2OLA on Twitter. So just, you know, if you want to see me play Destiny, if you want to see me rage at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, if you want to see me rage on Destiny, you know, little things like that, man, follow me, you know, catch a vibe, and yeah, so you can find me. I'm going live. I'm going to be going live today playing some Destiny because next Tuesday, either this Tuesday or the Tuesday after, a new season of Destiny is going to start. And they're changing a lot in PvP. I've been asking for this for a long time, and they're taking more steps towards like finally balancing PvP. And hopefully the Destiny YouTubers have calmed down, you know, with calling things broken. They got what they wanted. Yeah. I'm still disappointed about that. They got what they wanted. So hey, a lot is changing in Destiny PvP, and I need to be there to check it out.
Yeah. So, all right. I mean, where you can find me at is you can find me on StadiaDosage. You can find me on PNTS Network, and then I will be releasing a video today of my Far Cry playthrough, some extreme, you know, stuff. So with that said,
nice.
You know, so definitely check that out. All right. And with that said, can't wait, guys. Until next time, you have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Great.